What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben gaming video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. Now, in today's video, we're going to be doing a Let's Talk video. I've now finished Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Had a really good time, actually. So I just want to give my thoughts and opinions while we play a little bit of the game as well. I've got into a new save because I finished the game, so it goes straight into New Game Plus. But yeah, before we get into that, please consider liking and subscribing if you do enjoy these types of videos. The testing, first impressions videos are not going anywhere, so don't worry. But in between games coming out, we'll do these sort of like Let's Talk videos on games that I have finished. So I hope people don't, people enjoy that and stuff. So we're over here on PlayStation 5 Pro, of course. Let me skip through any cutscenes we've seen. But yeah, as you'll see, we already have some decent weapons and stuff. We've got some good stuff. We're already plus 10 and everything because obviously we finished the game already. I think we keep all our armor and stuff, and yes, we do. We keep everything we've got in New Game Plus. Now, if obviously don't click on this video if you want any spoilers, but I just feel like I should say spoilers maybe ahead. I'm not going to directly say any specific things, but I'm going to talk about the game, the combat and stuff, and how it feels. Now, I am somebody who really enjoys Souls-like games. Probably my favorite Souls-like ever, or Souls game in general, is probably actually Lies of P and Elden Ring. Like, both of those for me are like up there as pretty much tied as the best Souls games for me personally. Like, I just love those games for both different reasons. Obviously, Elden Ring because of the incredible open world and the way that game is just so expansive. You can just, go wherever you like, whenever you want. You can literally just walk your way straight to the first boss and just go boss to boss to boss. It's just a really good game. And the same thing for Lies of P. I also enjoy that linear style sometimes. It's nice not to have that pressure of missing anything. So I have a good background of Souls-like games. I really do. I play all of them that come out pretty much, and it's one of my favorite genres. And I see a lot of people's videos at the moment on YouTube talking about how that market's sort of becoming quite stagnant. There's so many, not stagnant, but there's so many of these Souls-like games coming out, essentially, that it's just getting a little bit much. But I'm the opposite. I just want more of these to come out. Like, I absolutely love these games. Wukong was another one that I did enjoy. But this one, I really did enjoy this one. I had a fantastic time playing through this game. And there's a few reasons why it actually has added a few things that I just really enjoy. That's a cool axe right there. Let me just go out to the front area over here. But there's a few aspects to this game that I really enjoy in a different kind of way. Now, they've got something going here where you can backstab pretty much any human enemy, including many of the bosses that are more human-like and not massive. Like, obviously, massive enemies, you can't do this with necessarily, but pretty much all the human-type enemies and bosses, you can. Now, if you get behind the enemy and you do a charge R2 like this, you can stagger the enemy instantly. And I really like that, to the point where when I go to other games, that are other Souls-likes, I miss the fact that you can't just go and do that, and you've got to build up a stagger meter and stuff until you actually obviously stagger the boss. Now, you can still build up a stagger meter by doing normal hits on the boss, but that's just an option if you want to get a very heavy attack and stagger the enemy instantly. It really does work well, and I love that because it forces you to kind of play positioning and actually be smart about where you're positioning yourself. Now, this is going to be interesting because at the beginning of the game, you come up to this NPC over here, and he actually teleports you to a boss, basically. So I'm going to be interested to see how this goes. Now I'm actually not technically level 1, but it is New Game Plus, so maybe the boss is going to be way harder. But anyway, I won't be able to show you that stagger thing yet, because obviously this is not a normal enemy that we're about to fight. This is like the crafted scion or whatever it is the beginning of Elden Ring, where it's the test to make sure that you actually are capable of playing this game. You're not supposed to beat this enemy, so but I'm interested to see in New Game Plus if it's actually doable. But yeah, as I was saying, that whole mechanic I find really cool. So maybe we can test it on these like little NPCs here. So if I get behind him, we go like this, do a heavy. Okay, never mind. It's just going to kill him because I'm such a high level right now. All right, where's the big boy coming in? We'll do this bit and then we'll get back to talking about the game a little bit more. I feel like he's going to like land on me or something. Oh no, there's a cutscene first. Okay, we'll skip that. Okay. Let's give this a go. Good damage. Yeah, so we can't stagger him from a charge R2 or anything like that. Just not going to happen. He's too big. God damn. At least he's not doing much damage. But you can see we're building up a stagger meter on that bar in the center. And that's something I hope From Software add. It would be really nice to see that stagger meter in some of the Souls-like games. Because, or from like the next Elden Ring or whatever they decide to do next. That would be really nice to see. Because I do like having it. And that's what I'm kind of like about all these Souls-like games. Is I feel like we're kind of getting more close to that perfect Souls-like. With we actually did it. Cool. That was really easy compared to some of the late game enemies. I didn't even play that well, to be honest, but that was cool. I always wondered what would happen if I actually beat this enemy straight off the bat. I guess probably nothing. We're just gonna get teleported out and then carry on from where we were. I don't know. I'm curious though. Let's have a look. This is one thing that does annoy me. The loading fog gate sort of thing. Oh, we just get spawned back here. The kind of loading fog gate stuff takes a little bit too long, in my opinion. We've got an enemy here. We can try and I'll show you the backstab on this more difficult enemy over here. This is what I'm talking about when I say I like this kind of backstab stuff. So let's aggro him for a sec. Damn it, he moved. He literally moved right at the last second. This is how you don't do it. I need him to actually attack me. He's not doing anything. Never mind. Okay, it's not going to happen on that guy. Fair enough. That's fine. It is what it is. We'll carry on. We'll see if we can make it happen. But, right, let's talk about some other aspects of the game as well. So, graphics-wise, obviously, I'm on PlayStation 5 Pro. I actually don't hate it at all. I think it's got its own unique sort of visuals in a way. I know it's an Unreal Engine game, but it kind of has a different feel to it than many of the others, in my opinion. Like, it doesn't feel like every other Unreal Engine 5 game, in my opinion. Like, maybe for you guys, you might say the complete opposite to me, but every other Unreal Engine 5 game feels the same art style wise, but this one kind of has its own thing, and it's a lot less like, I don't know, it just feels a lot more it feels just a lot better to me, basically. It just looks good. I like the image and art style they've gone with. To be honest, I'm impressed with it, but graphically it's not the best in the world in terms of like actual performance and stuff. Like, visuals are pretty FSR-y, right? We're obviously using a heavy amount of upscaling to get here. I'm currently on the balance mode with the unlock toggle because it runs mostly at close to 60 frames per second. So I do like that we're getting a decent frame rate. And obviously if you go to performance mode, the image quality does take a further hit with FSR. But you are getting, actually on the PS5 Pro, like 90 to 100 frames in most areas later on in the game. Like, this is one of the most demanding parts of the game, is the start. So I think a lot of people probably start this game and think that the performance is going to be this sort of stuttery and this bad all the way through, but it does clear up a lot. So if you have started this game and you thought, I'm going to wait for patches, it does get a huge amount better, like, after the sort of starting areas of the game. So do bear that in mind. So graphically, not the best, with a lot of artifacting from obviously heavy upscaling from genuinely like 800p images from what I've seen. So it's pretty heavy upscaling. Performance wise though, pretty decent in terms of FPS for a game that is using sort of these you know, it is using sort of this level of like ray tracing or ambient occlusion and stuff like that, and you know, all the stuff that I mean. I don't think I'm even meaning ambient occlusion. I'm tired, guys. I don't know what I mean. I know what I mean. I know that I'm meaning lumen and nanite. That's what I'm meaning. So I believe it is using all those features. So there is a lot going on in this engine. It's a horrible engine, to be honest. Like, it's great that they've got all this like ray tracing capabilities and stuff, but at the same time, like, they should really, like, you got to look at a game like Death Stranding 2. Excuse me. You got to look at a game like Death Stranding 2 where, like, they're just, you know, doing something crazy with their engine that doesn't include ray tracing, but it doesn't need to because it looks so goddamn good that it just doesn't need to have any of that sort of stuff. So Performance-wise, overall, it's a mixed bag. Depending on who you are, what you can cope with FSR-wise, you do get good performance in terms of FPS, just not such great quality. So do bear that in mind. Now, gameplay-wise, combat feels absolutely incredible. The combat is the best part of this game. It's so fluid, and once you really get into this game, it is difficult at the start, but once you start playing further through, you adjust, you learn things you should be doing. You obviously, there's so many different things to collect and use to your advantage to make bosses a lot easier than they actually are. Like, when you first do a boss, you're like, God damn, like, this is hard. I'm not going to be able to do this at all. But you really do learn quickly. Like, just simple things make a big difference in this game. It's not so much like a Dark Souls 3 where you change your armor and it doesn't do a great deal. This is more like you've got, right, so looking at the armor tab, you've got all these mitigations on the right and resistances. Like, a lot of the later bosses in the game do heavy amounts of feathering damage and like slash, blunt, and stab damage. So obviously you naturally want to prioritize those. You know, and it does make a significant difference in the damage taken. Like, some enemies would genuinely one-shot me, and then I change my armor out to learn what they actually use and what I should be defending against, and no longer they do that. Like, less than half the health is gone after that, and it's really good. You do have to cater your abilities and stuff and cater your armor to the boss. Same with spells. Like, different spells are very relevant to different bosses. Obviously, fire damage spells are going to be great on, like, you know, enemies that are, you know, take a significant amount of fire damage. It might sound obvious, but certain games, other games don't always work in the same way, so you kind of got to bear that in mind. So yeah, talking about like combat though, carrying on with that, the spell aspect. Now, I didn't use it a great deal. I didn't level it up. Like, I'll show you my skill tree when we're at the next rest point. I'll show you my skill tree, but I didn't use a drastic amount of like magic. I kind of kept the basic stuff, and yeah, most of the magic I tended to use was based around like the divine ward I used to reduce damage taken and stuff like that. I didn't find a lot of these that effective, but I didn't put a lot of levels into them either. So I spent most of my time just literally as a melee build. I used the long sword, the lashing whip. I found pretty early on. I would say first. I don't know, but I say quarter, but it was probably earlier than that. Maybe first quarter of the game, I found the lashing whip longsword, and I stuck with that throughout the entire game. I actually was a bit annoyed because I did miss a longsword weapon later on in the game by locking myself out of it, which was kind of annoying. It always happens in these types of games. There's some other weapons that are very cool, like some of the one-handed swords are cool because it allows you to use magic a little bit faster if you're using the one-handed sword. The axes are cool, like the great weapons are pretty cool. Everything's good. They all have their own separate things, and they have their own separate skill trees as well. So there's combat-wise, it's absolutely fantastic. I've got zero complaints. Now, story-wise, I must admit, I found it a little bit hard to follow in terms of what was going on. Essentially, it's the feathering, which is what you build up on your arm there, is a sickness that everybody's getting. Now, towards the first half of the game, I was understanding it. Towards the second sort of later bits, I was struggling a little bit to actually follow what on earth was going on. It's a cool story, but it's not the best. Now, we can try the backstab thing here. Here we go. There we go. So you get a really nice stagger like that, and obviously I'm doing way more damage than you should. You probably would have only taken off like 1/10 of her health from the backstab, or 1/8 or something. But yeah, obviously we're doing a lot more than that with this weapon at this level because we're doing New Game Plus. So just bear that in mind. Obviously, it's not going to be like that for you on your first playthrough. But yeah, like overall, I have very much enjoyed my time with this game. I don't think I put a load. I didn't go for the platinum or anything like that. 18 hours. I don't know why it's showing as 85%. I've done everything I possibly could have done. I talked to every NPC. It does lock you out at the end of the game, but I felt like I'd had enough time. Like, I played 18 hours. I'd finished the whole thing. I probably at some point will do another playthrough. I tend to go back and do Souls-likes multiple times, and this is one I genuinely enjoyed enough to do a whole second playthrough. Probably not for a little while because I'll probably come back to it. I don't like to just dive straight in and, you know, do it all over again straight away. But you know, it definitely is worth your time if you are a Souls-like fan and you enjoy these type of difficult games. Because I will say, as much as I say that you can make bosses easier, some of the late game bosses are incredibly hard, especially if you don't summon. I didn't summon for any of the bosses. I'm not saying that as a I'm better than anybody. Like, obviously you should summon. I just enjoy the challenge of these types of games, and I see it as a goal to not use anything else other than my character and the weapons that I've collected. So I didn't, but you can summon on a few of the enemies, I believe, but not all of them. Like some of the late game ones that you really get into, you cannot summon. There's no option for you to do so, which is, I think, a good thing, because it just gives you it pushes you to overcome a challenge, and I think it's really, really good, and everybody is capable of doing it. It's not anything crazy. It's not anything like I don't think it's anywhere near as difficult as something like Elden Ring or Lies of P, especially like the DLC of Lies of P. Like, it's nothing remotely close to how difficult some of those bosses are. So it's very manageable. You have the skills to, you have the abilities, and you have advantages if you use your armor and utilize everything that you've been given throughout the game. We can get backstab here again. Oh, he's going to just die in one hit, though. That's the thing. It's hard to show, but I don't think there's much more for me to say in this video. I have very much enjoyed my time with the game. I will be playing this again. I would give this probably like a 7 out of 10. Like, for me, Lies of P is a perfect 10 out of 10, and so is Elden Ring for me, but I would probably give this game a 7 out of 10. Again, you have to look just for opportunities, a bit like what we're in a situation here where we've got where is it? Here. We've got the bombs that you can... That's the wrong thing. We've got the bombs you can throw, and you can see there's all these jars around. They are filled with flammable stuff. So you can make things easier, including the mobs like that. Now, I just actually briefly, before we end this video, I want to just touch on the fact that some of the areas in this game feel a little bit scummy and a little bit awkward. You kind of have a lot of enemies placed in one location that feels a little bit frustrating. To put it as an example, you may have archers spamming you with fire arrows above, and then also enemies that run at you and explode that you can dodge once you learn the timing of it, and that also mines buried in snow in the ground that literally just come up and blow you up. And that's all in one area at the same time that you're having to deal with. Also, even infinitely spawning explosive enemies in certain areas until you deactivate, like a tower, as an example, as to what you are dealing with. Now, that can be a little bit much and a little bit frustrating, and the quantities of enemies in those areas are a little bit annoying, I have to say. So just bear that in mind. There is a little bit of that going on. There's a few areas. This is just so easy on New Game Plus at the start. I imagine the late game enemies will be crazy hard, but that's pretty easy. It's just nothing to do there. Yes, but a few of the later game areas are a bit like that and a bit over the top, in my opinion. Have we killed him so quick that we've like broken something? That was ridiculous. But yeah, so that's a few complaints. I don't think there's many others that I want to complain about. I'll show you the skill tree very quickly. Let's just grab this item. I wonder what happens in New Game Plus. Like, do we just get the same stuff? I don't know, actually. I'm gonna definitely do this game again. Like, even just playing it now, there's so much more life for me to play in this game. It's just really fun. And again, the combat is so satisfying and works so well that I just want to play it again. So let's look at the skill tree here. I'll show you what I did. Obviously, they've kind of dumbed it down, which is really nice. You've got every different type of weapon. So you've got like your you've got your dual blades, your heavy weapons, your single-handed weapons, your like spears and stuff, and then obviously you've got the longsword, which is what I chose to put all my points into. I literally did max level this whole skill tree during my playthrough. I didn't grind any mobs or do anything like that. I literally just played through the game at my own pace. No grinding, nothing like that, just playing through the game. and I did max out that area. I didn't max out this left one. This left one is kind of one that everybody should do no matter what you're in. It's a lot of your feathering abilities and like various other aspects that are very important. You know, even putting fire on your weapon or different things, frostbite, corruption, or whatever you want to put on your blade, which obviously is a feature in every other game. But yeah, I'm trying to think. You've got a lot of different things that you can do. You can temper your weapons. I didn't even unlock the last two acupoint things by playing through the game, talking to every NPC where I could and where I found them. So I don't know if I missed something or it's something maybe you do get in your second playthrough. Obviously you collect different things that you can put on your tempering. I felt a little bit like almost disappointed that I didn't unlock them all and that there wasn't a little bit more to do with those kind of things. Benedictions, you've got lots of different things you can put on your weapon. There's various things you can do and put on any weapon, so that's options. You've got disciplines, which again is putting like, this changes your feathering abilities on your L2. You can see the combinations there that you can do. I found this one to be absolutely brilliant, combined with like fire and stuff. It absolutely melted bosses, so that aspect of it was really, really good. So and yeah, I like that they show the icons on the map. Again, there's lots of things I would like the other games to copy from. Lies of P does this as well, where it shows the character names on the location that you want to travel to go talk to any NPCs in those areas. So there's a lot that's good, and there's a lot that's like needs work. Again, like in terms of the enemy quantities and stuff, that would be nice to be actually sorted out and fixed. So yeah, I don't think I have much more to say. It's a very brief overview. I like to do these kind of like let's talk videos once I've played either mostly into a game or finished, but I just kept going with this game before I had a chance to even do a let's talk video. I kept playing through and you know, and just enjoying it. So yeah, that's been it for me. I think the next game I'm going to play, I need to do Ghost of Tsushima. It's been very, very long in the works that I need to go and play through that game. And obviously we've got Ghost of Yotai coming out very shortly, so I want to get through that game before Ghost of Yotai comes out. So it's crazy. There's so many games coming out. It's a good problem to have, having too many games to play. But yeah, I think we'll stop there. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are if you're new to this channel. Sorry, we've got loads of PlayStation content covering. I will be away for the next few days, so there will be a shortage of videos for myself, and I won't be here, you know, unfortunately, to cover Hellblade 2 at launch on PS5, but I will be back on Friday to cover that content. So yeah, thanks for all your support. I appreciate every one of you who watches these videos. Leave a like, subscribe. See you in future videos. Bye bye for now, guys.